Certainly being focused on something that you're confident will have high value to someone else, and just being really rigorous in making that assessment.
People take too many things they assume too many things to be true without sufficient basis in that belief. It's very important that people closely analyze what is supposed to be true. Try to say, let's analyze things from first principles, not by analogy or not by convention.
I also had sort of a slight existential crisis because I was trying to figure out what does it all mean? Like, what's the purpose of things? And I came to the conclusion that if we can advance the knowledge of the world, if we can do things that expand the scope and scale of consciousness, then we're better able to ask the right questions and become more enlightened, and that's really the only way forward. And this was against the advice of pretty much everyone I talked to. One friend made me sit down and watch a bunch of videos of rockets blowing up. Let me tell you, he wasn't far wrong. Tough going there in the beginning because I'd never built anything physical. I mean, I built like little model rockets as a kid and that kind of thing, but I'd never had a company that built anything physical. So I had to kind of figure out how to do all these things and bring together the right team of people. And so we did all that and then failed 3 times.
I think also people tend to overweight risk on a personal level. Let's say you're young and you're just coming out of college or coming out of high school or whatever. What do you risk? You know, you're not going to stop. People should be less risk averse when there's not much at risk.
I wouldn't say I'm fearless. In fact, I think I feel fear quite strongly. If what we're doing is what I'm doing is I think is important enough, then I just override the fear. Trying to build a company and have it succeed is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. Sort of quite exciting for the first several months starting a company, and then reality sets in. Things don't go as well as planned. Customers aren't signing up. The technology or the product isn't working as well as you thought, and then that can sometimes be compounded by a recession. And it can be very, very painful for several years. So I think, frankly, starting a company advises people to have a high pain tolerance.
For this, like, there are many more ways to fail than to succeed. Failure is not a big stigma. So it's like if you try hard and it doesn't work out, that's okay. Learn from that and do another company, and it's not a big deal.
I think that the thing that drives me is that I want to be able to think about the future and feel good about that, to be inspired by what is likely to happen, and to look forward to the next day. The difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that can actually have merit. And that is a really difficult thing to tell you. Can you tell the difference between those two things? Very rigorous in your self-analysis.
If you assume things are true by convention, which is actually what most people do, then it's difficult to gain insight into how things can be bettered. You want to make sure that the underlying premises are valid and applicable, and then in reaching a conclusion, that the conclusion you're reaching is necessarily driven by the underlying premises and the interconnection between those premises.
When I was young, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I got older. I read a quote from Arthur C. Clarke, which said that a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and that's really true. If you go back, say 300 years, the things that we take for granted today you'd be burned at the stake for. I think it actually goes beyond that, because there are many things that we take for granted today that weren't even imagined in times past. They weren't even in the realm of magic.
You had that third failure in a row. Did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. This is the first time in the 4.5 billion year history of Earth that it's been possible to extend life beyond Earth. Before this, it was not possible. How long will this window be open? It may be open for a long time, or it may be open for a short time. I think it would be wise to assume that it is open for a short time.
Every waking hour, that's the thing I would say. Okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year. Now is the time to take risk. So I would encourage you to take risks now, to do something bold. You won't regret it.
Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week.
Like one of the most difficult choices I ever faced in life was in 2008. Maybe $30 million left, or $30 or $40 million left in 2008. I had two choices. I could put it all into one company, and then the other company would definitely die, or split it between the two companies. But if I split it between the two companies, then both might die. And when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into creating something, or building something, it's like a child. Am I going to let one starve to death? I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I split the money between the two. Fortunately, thank goodness, they both came through.
When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor.
We're doing these things that seem unlikely to succeed, and we've been fortunate, and at least thus far they have succeeded.
You guys are the magicians of the 21st century. Don't let anything hold you back. Imagination is the limit, and go out there and create some magic.
Mm-hmm.